Welcome, folks, to my live. Ooh, let's see. My camera seems to be off. Let me see what's going on. Let me check my other device. It's kind of nice that you can do that. Oh, everything seems to be good. Ooh, I got the smoother on, so I look like. I look like. Well, now I know why people put the smoothing stuff on. I look like 10 years younger, 15 years younger. Cool. All right. Let me get my stuff set up here. Just waiting for Zara to come up. Any of my mods. Oh, I see Zara. You're here. Let's see. And if anybody knows how to flip the camera, that would be great because that would be great, actually.
What's making you look 10 or 15 years younger?
It's a smoothing enhanced background thing, so it like smooths
Oh,
out my
okay.
wrinkles and my.
Yeah, because you're like, to the app. Yes.
I look
Get
handsome.
your riz on.
Right. Let me see. So that's on. I got that on. I can hear everybody. Everybody can hear me. Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I mean, let's see what the audience says. Well, I guess it'd be the audience of one.
Yeah. I don't know how to flip my camera so that people can see that, but it's better
Oh,
than
I
seeing my hat collection.
need to share this. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that
Boop, boop,
too.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, and I'm going to send it out to
Let's
the
see.
YT creators. I don't even care if they're been problematic. Like, as long as they
Yeah,
shut up and learn
bring them up.
something.
That's the whole point. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of point. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
So yeah. So we're going until 8 today.
It was 5 to 8, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I had it in on my calendar. It just said 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
So I didn't
yeah,
know if it was on till
yeah.
8. But yeah,
But
if
it's
somebody
kind of
can
like
tell me
reading
how
the
to flip
room.
my. Yeah.
Oh, how do
Hey,
you
Leah.
flip the camera from
Yeah.
the perspective of the
Leah,
host? I don't remember
yeah,
how to do that.
well, not even that. It's flipping it from left to right, so everything is backwards. If we can flip it so that it can go this way. If
Oh,
Leah,
child,
if you
I have
know
no
how to
idea about
flip it,
that.
Ram, I
You'd
don't know
have to
either.
see if in the effect if there's like mirroring, right? Because you have to essentially have to
I
mirror everything.
I tried that, and then somebody
Yeah.
said that I had to do it. One of the things said you had to do it on the live. So let me see. Live highlights, campaign, remove
Huh.
background noise, settings. No, I don't see it there.
Yeah, you have to get someone far more technically savvy than me. I have no idea.
Right. That would be great.
Please, everyone, if you can, tap the live. Thank you very much. The algorithm wants you to be fully present and staring at the screen. So if you can
Yep.
give it that head pat by tapping the screen, that would be lovely. So at the
Yeah, right.
AI,
You can just click
yeah, yeah,
click right
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
It helps being bald. You've got like
yeah.
lots of place to aim. Somewhere
That's
around
right.
here, click. It's okay. If you don't like me, click harder.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll wait till
Thank you for the
like,
roses. Please gift
hello,
please gift
Zion. We'll wait
Zara.
till like, oh, okay. We'll wait till like
Give her a couple minutes.
5:06 7. Yeah. Just to see who shows up.
Oh,
Mercury!
I'm sorry
Davina!
that your phone got
What?
stolen.
Zion,
That's
no!
horrible.
That's fucking horrible. In the modern life, that's debilitating. No.
That is.
I'm so sorry, Zion. Jesus. And Zion's young too. Not to say that, older people necessarily can't have, or, be poorer, but on average, statistically speaking. Oh, man. Oh, Zion, I'm so sorry, sweetie.
You might actually be able to check
Jesus.
with some of the local community. Sometimes people have spare phones kicking around that they have just for donations. I know my kids just did one of those. So definitely, I don't know where you live, and definitely don't dox yourself. If you want to inbox me,
Yeah.
um, we can help you look for something in your area.
And all the information, all those fucking photos. Oh, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically our
Vital.
lives put on a device at this point
Mm-hmm.
these days. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. At least this way, I got it set up in my desk in my room that I usually do sewing on, and I've got it set up now, and
Yeah.
I can do it here. And
Oh, okay.
do I attend
Glad to
school?
hear it, Zion. Shit. Even sometimes even require, depending on where you live, sometimes even require the phone just to get on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually amazing to me what they're doing with the cell phones now, like, and
Yeah.
how important it is. And I just would also like to say, screw you to every teacher that told me that I would never ever ever walk around with a calculator in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. Screw them indeed. Hmm.
Oh, not that one. That's way too
Oh, we're
tiny.
up to 9. That's good.
Yeah, it's getting out there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
share it again from mine in just a minute.
Oh, as I was saying, it's more like a read the room kind of thing. If it's kind of a dud
Yeah,
again, we'll probably just do 2 hours. If it's like actually pumping and bumping, we'll do full 3.
yeah. We can do longer than that. Like, it's not like I'm going anywhere tonight, or
Yeah.
I don't have any plans
Yeah.
afterwards. Although I don't
I
think I
have
want to
plans.
cut it. Oh, you have plans? Oh, never mind then. You have
Yeah. So
plans,
this certain
so.
you know who. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, then that's awesome.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I
Ooh, if I
have
lean too
lined up the
close to the camera, I
stress.
look like an egg. Yeah.
I have the stress and the stress relief lined up. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
kind of awesome.
Oh, it's time.
Not
Okay,
so
let's
awesome.
sit down. All right.
It's multifaceted. Let me just looking for my damn paintbrush. Half a second.
Oh,
I make lots of
I need to
noise.
get my tea just in the right place. Then we'll actually
Right?
get going. Ooh. Okay.
Well, we're
Got all
gonna
my
have it
liquids. I
strategically
have
placed.
tea. Yeah, I have tea. Then I have a coconut water behind it. Then I have half a glass of water. And then I have my magnesium water behind that. Because, when you talk so much, it takes moisture from you. Okay, so,
Here's
let
the
me turn on
damn
this
thing.
light so I'm seeing more. Okay.
I have
All right.
my Pepsi with lime.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
It's 0 sugar.
Can you 50-50 us?
Potentially,
If
we'll
not,
see.
this is doable. Yeah.
No, I can probably
I'm
50-50
sorry you're
it. One sec.
at risk of spiraling mercury. I'm very sorry for that.
No, I didn't lay up. Was it in Discord? Yeah, I can make you a mod. Give me just a half a sec. I thought I already did. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was trying to do it from my other phone.
Oh, don't call
How did I do
yourself
it from
that.
here? Oh, that's true. You're right. I should be a
Yeah,
little bit more cognizant of my negative self-talk. Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate you.
yeah. It's just also it's
And
cruel, particularly someone with navigating the neurodiversity that you're experiencing. It's just cruel, you know.
yeah,
Oh, so
it's
yeah,
true.
I'm kind of going for like beach babe aesthetic. Thank you.
It's very pretty. Okay. Now I think I can do it from this way.
Ugh, tea leaf in my mouth.
Expand
Okay.
or do
Well, that's too
the
big now because now you can
Nicolacho.
see my messy bed hair.
Right? Okay, let me
Yeah, yeah. Look,
let me try.
we do
Sure.
50-50, we can get the good. We do 50-50, we can get the good attributes bigger, and then we can keep the smaller, the not good attributes small enough. You know what I mean? Okay, well that's just now my
Right?
chest. Okay, let me see. There. Okay, we'll just do that. I don't think this is the
There we go.
here's how you learn about racism. I don't think that's quite the plan. Okay.
It might capture redemption. Um,
Ah! No. Okay.
um, yeah. Let me see if there's any other way.
Well,
Fix
while you're
Japan,
doing
fix
that,
wood.
since we this is past time, I'm gonna start
Yep.
with the
Yeah, I
open
think this
letter.
is as close as we get.
Yeah. Okay.
If any of my mods can fix it so that we're equal, please do. If
That's
not,
okay.
I don't blame you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
This isn't. Thank you. This is an open letter of rage, opening myself the degrading pain of seeking still that neural path in the minds of others to experientially perceive me as human. To write the necessity of this sacrifice facing towards the transgender community tells a long history, a handed down belief that the true transgender community isn't, wasn't, and will never be Black. And a subculture of outcasts. There too still is the same society, one of gleeful master and lowly slave. You have stolen my languages, generations of autonomy, the dignity of a respectable death, forced the horror of being birthed into this subjugation. But on it went. How still Black trans people fled chattel slavery and found themselves in unfreedom, unshackled, yet still captive in the colony you call home. Black trans people made a new language, a new scene, a world away, and you too stole that, saying that the very structure which makes you human, showing its cruelty towards you, permits you the moral crimes you commit. And this is the worst failure of understanding in the transgender community. You are a human being branded for deviancy for your gender expression, and me and mine are loathed subjects, further perversing ourselves. Black transgender people die because they are forced onto a planet and its white supremacist world, which deems that Black self determination ought to never exist. And you all have played your parts in this open colonial dominion. Do the neurons pass the voltage in such a winding way as to regard the anguish of this rageful writing? Or do the neural pathways spark to avoid, deny, or dismiss this societal pathologizing? Rationally, I should be running away from you all, each in your inheritance of whiteness or permitted proximity to the white social structure. Rationally, there is not a generation of you that has shown the radical persistence and self examination to create a new world on this planet that meets what you say out loud, believe of yourself. And yet here we are, the outcasts and the perverted slaves, stuck in one category, gender deviant. You reach for the lipstick, the razor, the dress, or the blazer, yet I see the whip just the same behind the new gender adornment. You have changed, but remain no different in your character. Black transgender people made the world, the queer frame of reference in which you live and understand yourself. You have pillaged and colonized this world. And this is the core of my rage. You steal and forcibly shape to your use what my people make by the spirit fueled with the innocent will to live. You are the stewards, the representation of nothing, just violent consumers who weep that life is unfair over my people's bones, with my people's language. This conversation is an insistence of me and mine in a new generation colliding against queer complicity to genocide and racial caste. I interact with you with the love I have for my fellows not to be killed or neglected by your cold shoulder to atrophy and cease. As those in the transgender community, the gender diverse who would do so without the fatal mark of Black and Indigenous skin, how will you meet my rage and my rational criticism? I know what you tell yourself, the same things you have for generations, which intermittently permit your extraction, internally permit your extraction, theft, and pillaging. But when face to face with the branded, othered architects of the trans world, what will you do? Expectations and rules regarding conduct of this gathering. 1. The introduction will be read each session, along with these expectations and rules. Both are subject to change as I see fit. 2. This is a trans space for trans people to discuss racism, segregation, and interracial political formation within the trans community. We acknowledge that trans includes a multitude of identities that span cultural context and unique gender expression. Ultimately, this is a space for gender variant people who see anti-trans political sentiment and legislation as a grave danger. This conversation will be centered within the US and Canadian context, but others are welcome to join. 3. There may be some moderators who are not trans, but are trusted to help moderate racism within this space. Ideally, over time, trans people can be trusted in this role, but these shifts in people will need to happen organically. 4. Black and Indigenous voices will always have the priority. Racialization is a critical element of discussing and experiencing racism. Thus, we will prioritize not only based on ancestry, but also racialization to oppose colorism and featureism. If any non-BIPOC trans people interrupt BIPOC trans people, they will have 2 strikes, and then they will be asked to leave the conversation. 5. We acknowledge our disabled peers by conversing one at a time. Currently, it will be myself and Trunkle Pax, who will update and determine chat order for now. The speaking one at a time ensures those with hearing or communication processing needs have the ability to follow along better and contribute to the conversation. A desire to communicate will be expressed by a hand emoji in the chat or if verbally asked by a host to ask who wishes to speak next. 6. When introduced, you'll be expected to present your age to verify you're an adult for TikTok, your race, and pronouns. You will be encouraged to also share your trans experience, meaning if you're M to F, F to M, non-binary, two-spirit, etc. 7. Non-BIPOC people comparing their experiences to anti-Blackness or anti-Indigenousness will not be tolerated. Appropriation of Black slang and AAVE will be addressed as it happens to stop the cultural theft. To be in this space is to acknowledge that the fact of Black slave resistance and liberation being a critical element to making current LGBT plus culture, even if you're not aware how by historical details. 8. While myself and Trunkle Pax are hosting this space, we hold that the other BIPOC trans people are also leading voices in this conversation. Non-Black and Indigenous people will hold them in high regard. And 9. This is not a safe space. This is a protective space for Black and Indigenous trans people. We are permitted, nor will we be restrained, expressing our experiences and emotions regarding colonization. For non-BIPOC, you are expected to self-regulate. Contact non-BIPOC peers for help self-regulating and doing emotional labor to validate Black and Indigenous peers. White centering and white fragility will be addressed immediately. The captured culture already centers you every moment of every day. It is time to share. Okay, well, thank you for listening to that opening. You know what's interesting is
Awesome.
the first thing that came to me
Hmm.
is despite like writing down the fact that white people will do the emotional labor of addressing Black people and Black and Indigenous people, the fact that we had to spend 3 hours last time, which is the entire session, trying to show people, white people, the praxis, that is the cultural practice of actually following through with that is disturbing. It not only
Hmm.
shows, well, I didn't think of this at the time. I was quite aware it shows that I'm not in white people's nervous systems regarded as a human being. Otherwise, there'd just be more forthwith action to humanize and emotionally connect and seek my welfare. But I realized by rereading the rules and expectations and the fact I had stated so clearly there that my authority as my ability to have authority, there we go, my ability to have authority is deeply undermined by being both Black and a woman. Now, obviously, I know this, but just like me having to present these topics anew frequently to people here, wisdom is experiencing something consistently and just a new angle. It's the same thing, but just a new angle, and you see it even more deeply. There's when we're talking about these topics, there's it's really years of learning. There are tiers of TIER, tiers of understanding, because it's actually brain shifting, right? It's not like here's this data point and you got it. You actually have to see more deeply. Would you say yourself, Pax, in the time that we've known each other and interacted online, that you've been experiencing more of that deeper tier understanding more than before, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really brought to light the things that I really haven't seen before, and the way that I have communicated, and what people in general, including myself, because have expected Black individuals to do and to go through,
Hmm.
to make things much easier. And like it really has shone a bigger light and allowed me to really understand a little bit more, um, the issues and the unpacking that the white society has to come up with to start even remotely addressing this problem, instead of going, I see there's a problem, I don't know what to do. It's being able to identify all the different parts of the problem so that we can come up with a solution to fix it, because we broke it. So how are we going to fix it? And if we didn't break it originally, we sure as hell benefit from it, and we need to fix that. So it's been a really eye opening for me. It's also, pardon me, I'm looking for my mute button so I can mute myself, because I don't want to make any noise and interrupt you when you're speaking. I can't. If anybody could like send me a Discord
So
message
so what
on
do you so what do you see? And I have what you said in my head. I can get back to it. What do you see?
on my go to settings, is that the three dots
Are
or
you on your okay? Are you on your phone or
tablet?
your tablet now?
My
Oh,
tablet. Yeah,
I don't know
and
what the
I could
tablet
find it
UI
before,
looks
no
like.
problem.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Um,
tablet UI looks like.
Give me just a second.
Mm-hmm. It's the
Mute
learning curve. It's
accounts,
fine.
right? And it's like they moved it. Like I was able to
So
find
you
it
don't see the
before,
chat box and like the well, no, because hosts don't see that. Oh yeah,
right?
because yeah,
It's the
host is
gear at
also
the
different.
bottom. The settings. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've never figured out
I
mute
see.
either. The gear. Mercury's
Um,
saying the gear at the bottom.
yep. And I've got voice monitoring, marked viewers, blocked accounts, common safety moderators, content disclosure, and that's it. Under that, the
Yeah,
three
even
dots. Let me
go
see.
ahead.
Um, campaigns, about me, live
Yeah,
gifts.
because even when I'm hosting, I actually still don't know to do that. I
Hang
actually
on.
have to take my earbuds out. Oh, go ahead.
Did I just find it? Did it? Can you hear me still?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I still hear
Okay,
you.
hang on.
No, I can't hear you. Okay, you figured it out? Sweet. Okay. Um, yeah, I'll have to figure that out
Yeah,
eventually
it moved.
myself because when I'm hosting lives, I literally just have to take my earbuds out and put them down
Hmm.
and walk away some away from the bathroom with them. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know how to do that, so I'll have to go figure it out later. But anyways, I still have in mind what you said. Let's get back to it. Um,
Okay, wait. Applaud though. Look.
oh hey! Yay! Yeah! Okay,
Yay!
great. Yeah, that's
Yes.
great.
All right.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead.
Thanks, Rookery. Okay, that's wonderful. It's cute. And also really sad that we even need that sign. I mean, like it's heartwarming, and then you start thinking, well, why is that there? And it's like dread. Okay, anyway, so what's interesting about being trans is you have to take this time to come to understand yourself relationally to society. But what's so interesting, angering, heartbreaking, infuriating, soul crushing, etc., is that for all the labor it takes non Black and Indigenous um, trans people to do the labor of finding themselves in relation to society to understand consciously that they are trans. They fail to, avoid, won't do so within their position and racial caste. So, my question with that being the foundation is as a white trans person, what has it been like both finding yourself in your relationship to society via your gender and also finding yourself in relationship to society with your race?
Well, and because it's very intermingled, because everything is a hierarchy, right? You have men on the top and transitioning to be more masculine looking, so everybody treats me like a man. Um, and cognitively, I knew that we treat men better. Emotionally, physically, I didn't understand how that felt, and it's actually disgusting me. Um,
Mm.
it disgusts me how much that white masculine, for better a term, we're going to use men, even though there are non-binary and transmasculine people. We're going to use men just to keep it simple. The way that
Men
men are
asterisks.
treated,
Mm.
yeah, men asterisks, how men are treated and expected, especially white men are treated and expected just to know everything and and just give their opinion on everything. And they think that they have a right and an opinion on things. Like people come up and ask me all the time about random stuff and like expect that I will be some knowledge fount of this information. I'm like, no, I have no idea how this works. Like I'm in a car store. No, cars go vroom. Typically have four wheels unless something's wrong with one. Other than that, I can't help you out. I'm here to get something and I need help. But there are lots of men I've realized that just spout off and go, oh, well, this is it. And it could be the completely wrong thing. And they don't care. They'll think that they're right. It's just all of a sudden given that they're right. Or I'll get more privilege and the bar is set low and people will tell me what a good man I am because I'm going to the bakery for my wife, or oh my god, I went and got tampons. Like it's some big deal, and it should be celebrated. And it really has shone a light to me, the difference, even though I knew there was a huge difference. It just to experience that is just wild. And so it really makes me think on, yeah, sure, I have an understanding. Yes, we as a society treat black people horribly, and at the bottom. And well, what would that look like? And I know I'll never be able to get a full picture of it, but just to even start to get an understanding. First off, I've cried more in the last couple of weeks doing these than I've ever done. It's not comfortable for me to cry. It's not a testosterone or a male thing. It's a neurological thing. But you know, really getting in touch with those emotions on how deep the problem is, because I don't see it every day, because it doesn't affect me personally, except for the fact that it does affect me personally because my friends are going through this, and I would never want to see my friends go through it, or my family go through it, or anybody to go through it. So it is affecting me personally, and it's getting me involved personally. And I appreciate that, because I think we all have to get involved with things personally in order to care. I think that's part of the problem is that people don't involve themselves personally and go, oh, well, since it doesn't affect my immediate needs, then it doesn't affect me. And it does. This affects you in more ways than one. Does
I
that
want
make
to,
sense?
oh, I follow. Um, I want to challenge you though. So,
Mm,
first of all, I want you to consider this. And I hear that like you're experiencing more duress as you perceive how like how innately structural racism is. That is to say, racism is structurally prevalent. It is quintessential. It is essential for this way
mhm,
of life to exist. However,
mhm,
I want to bring up to you something a little more, well, perhaps in your consideration, grim. Right? You're saying it doesn't affect you until you see your friends. Pax, it does affect you every single day because you are the benefactor, right? There's two
yes.
ways, right? There's the relationship of the extracted slash the annihilated, and then there in relation to the benefactor, right? And so you are living a life that is made from the annihilation and the extraction of others, right? And you benefit
Mhm,
from that every single day. And so that upliftment, based on the lifeblood of other people's, is with you every single moment of every single day. I'm curious, what do you think about that?
no, I completely agree. I I understand that, but it wasn't like it's not that it didn't affect me. You know what I mean? I'm not speaking as me as a general. I'm talking about me as a community, that people don't see that as a community until you see your friends going through it. Um for myself, I see it, but I go ahead.
So I'm going to challenge you again.
Mhm,
Remember, one of the key things that permits this practice, this system,
mhm,
excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, is phrasing. Because the phrasing can
mhm,
shield, it can hide, it can smoke screen away what we're talking
mhm,
about. So I knew, I followed what you meant when you're saying affecting, right? But I have
mhm,
to openly be seen challenging you in order to take away that fog, to take away that I'm not saying anything intentional, but that
mhm,
shift, right?
mhm,
It's important that you say you are affected, but positively, right?
mhm,
You are receiving the extraction, you are receiving the benefits of the colonization. Um,
mhm,
it's really important. I know because of how you're experiencing your consciousness and your neurospiciness, you're looking for, your exact wording may not be
mhm,
is exactly fine as you have had
mhm,
before. But what I'm trying to make sure you see to the best of your ability, and
mhm,
it's it's good in a way that there is learning from you about wording because it allows us to have it to be shown to the class. But it's
mhm,
important to ever present to any space that the Black and Indigenous people are going through genocide. that they have suffered and are continuing to go through genocide. Any way in which that can be presented is essential, and any way that obscures or hides that is bad, even if you didn't mean to.
Okay.
By only saying negatively those that are harmed are affected, ignores that you are uplifted, affected, right? So
True. No, you're right.
yes. So because it hides the fact that me and mine are suffering from, in the racial caste, are suffering from genocide, right? And persistent, apparently appreciated by the larger society, genocide. And so in the future, what I might include is I'm not harmed by the racism that is happening, but now I'm seeing it more in my community to those I'm close to, right? Something like that still acknowledges I'm still in the extractive colonial relationship, but there is that pain I'm really seeing from the people that are suffering that genocide, that persistent, desired, practiced genocide. What do you think about that when I present it and frame it that way?
I appreciate you correcting. Can we get Bob Jones out of here? Thanks. Thanks, mods. I appreciate the correction of my language because it is important. And you know my life and where I sit and things like that. But it's important to give me to help me get the words to amplify the voices and let people know exactly what's going on. You're right. I may not see the harm every day, but every day I am experiencing the upliftment of it because I live on the unceded territories of the First Nations people in which the house that I inhabit at. I'm not going to say the exact same one region, but but you're very right. This is it's important to acknowledge that and say that and drill that thing, but also like I don't want people to just say it and acknowledge it. I want people to feel it, to like have an understanding of that. Like I'm sitting in somebody else's house right now. Like I'm a guest on somebody else's land, and I want people to understand that and to be cognizant of that. And I appreciate the correction on the words that I used to use. And I would like to encourage the other people listening here to work on that within themselves. And that's why I'm exposing here, especially because I can't word things real well sometimes, unless I'm really angry. Then apparently I can I can spell it off.
Like you get a power up. You're like, ah! I'm like,
right? like
Did you see that? I was like, ah!
Yeah. That I don't even know what happened. Did somebody gift you at that particular moment or what? But that was
God.
like
yeah.
That was some
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, right? And so
yeah, but go ahead.
I am making myself public, and so people can watch me screw up and say the wrong things and fix myself to the best of my ability so that they can do it too. There's no reason that they can't do it.
Yes.
And I want people to do it. I want people to make themselves better and to be better people and to learn how to communicate more effectively and not hurt people. It's just like being trans. We have to have these conversations with cis folks on how to speak to us about being trans without being offensive. And it's the same way. Like, and I appreciate every ounce of effort that you give to me on a daily basis. I really do. I really do.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead. You have more?
No, I was just trying to read the comments. I like in and off of my glasses.
Yeah. So, you bring up the most essential question, right? How do we get people to feel it, right? Because I'm presenting, hey, you need to say it this way, but more importantly, I'm saying it, you need to have this frame of reference, right? The
Mm.
way you're saying something is how you're framing what we're talking about. And you can say something correct, but that doesn't actually mean it emotionally strikes people, that it actually compels them. I mean, we have seen and we are being displayed terrible legal acts and atrocities against trans people, for example, and we're not seeing cisgender people be moved rapidly, passionately against um, what is happening, right? What does it
Yeah.
mean that the worst can be witnessed, as in taken into the eye? I guess, yeah, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which word I want to use. What's the difference between witnessing and seeing something? I guess it can be seen. That atrocity can be seen, but it's not witnessed and then like moving people. However,
Mhm.
framing how we frame things with our language and thus trying to keep bringing things consciously is part of the way we can take something from being seen to witness. But the
Right.
part that haunts me as a black person trying to communicate these things is, what does it take for that to happen? How do we go from seeing to witnessing? How do we take the people who don't experience what is being felt from seeing to witnessing? Because, for example, with anti-blackness, my people have been going on and on for literally centuries, describing in the historical record,
Mhm.
openly fleeing within society, um, and insisting that we be heard. And yet, within the non-Black and Indigenous population, um, there is a desire. There's still just it's a choice at some point to just see and not witness. So when we're looking at transphobia and the
Mhm.
genocide that's targeting trans people, what have you noticed, if you've noticed any success at all, that has turned cis people from seeing the genocide to witnessing and thus responding to the genocide? Have you noticed anything working so far in your own life? It's a genuine question.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. The only time I think that people are seeing this and like witnessing it, um, and doing something about it is if it directly affects them because it directly affects somebody that they love, be it a close friend or a family member. And sometimes that doesn't even, they don't even care about that. Um, I have found, the cis community loves loves a party, and they will say all of the right things, but then in the same breath they just will turn their back on somebody who's trans and who's needing shelter or is suffering, and they're like meh. They don't help. And it's it's bizarre, like the dehumanization that people will do because we are trans, and it is generally the only people who will vocally start caring are people who my life has had a direct and impactful place, and even then not so much. So
So, what do you think, from an anti-trans perspective, is necessary to pierce this veil to make the larger society have a passionate care for this?
I don't know, and I hope it's not a huge tragedy, but it may be. But there's been horrible tragedies in the trans community, and trans bodies have been brutally mutilated, and people just don't care. It took Matthew Shepard's unalivement
That's
where
right.
people really started to cry about it. There's been whitey trans folk and black trans folk who have been unalived brutally, brutally, stomach churningly, brutally, and they don't seem to care. So I'm not sure. I can't give you a great answer on that. I think that they like to think that they care, or they like to say that they care, but there is a lot of performative activism out there. Um, if you are saying one thing, saying, oh, yeah, this thing matters, and then doing nothing, then no, it doesn't matter to you because it doesn't matter to you enough to do anything. So,
So, how have you been making peace with or coming to understand that the genocidal society in which you live in is inherently populated by people who are amoral and evil in their
um,
amorality?
how do I make peace with it?
Or
Oh, I can't make
how are you
peace with that.
processing? Yeah.
How am I processing? Um, a lot of anger on all different fronts. A lot of hyper awareness of like with just the trans part,
Hmm.
with a lot of microaggressions within that, within in the queer community, a lot of micro and macro aggressions within that, and then witnessing the way that the white people just will take and take and take and take and take because they don't want to they don't want to work hard, or they just see something like it and think that they have a right over it, whether it be the right over people's bodies or their dominion or their land or their assets. They just take it, and they don't want to be uncomfortable, and they don't want to sit with things. They just want to be as comfortable and snug as possible, and because uncomfortableness is the impetus for change. They don't want to change, so they want to continue to be as comfortable as possible. So they protect that comfortability by turning a blind eye to um, to the damage
Death.
that they do.
To death.
Mhm. And the to death and the benefits of that death and the benefits
Hmm.
of the bodies that
Yes.
build up, and they don't care.
Before we continue, who here in the audience is white and trans? Or, you know what, let me correct myself. Who here in the audience is not black or indigenous and trans? I want to see if we can start bringing people up. Of course, black and indigenous trans people are always welcome to come up.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is ask. But assuming none of them
Looks
want
like
to come up.
Kay is.
Kay, how do we get you up here? How do we get you to become an active participant instead of an observer? I know you, Sam. Oh shoot! I just realized I want to tell a stream real quick. A group I'm having this live.
Mhm.
Hold on. Be right back.
Yep, no problem. Let me bring up Kay. There we go. Oh, I was like, oh, it's just the top of my head.
Hello.
Hi, Kay.
Hi.
Hi. While she's out, can I get you're above 18?
Yes, I am 19 years old. I am
Perfect.
non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. Sorry, I'm so nervous. And I
Don't
am
be
white,
nervous.
yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Hi.
Is there anybody
Go ahead,
else?
Pax.
Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to come up and do some work? If there's my moderators would like them let them up, that would be great. If there are any BIPOC folk, please feel free to come up. Your input is always welcome too. If you're trans, I have one person I
So
see.
Kay,
Hang on.
Yes.
hold on. Pax, do you mind muting yourself
Yeah.
if you're just doing moderation stuff? Thank you. So, Kay, I hear that you're nervous, so let's start a little slower. But do know that I am going to be as direct and forthwith as I need to. What do you make of what you've heard so far in this conversation between Pax and myself?
I think, well, first of all, I think my first thing that I was thinking just in the last conversation is that, like, when we're talking about white people specifically, we need to say we, like, instead of they, instead of separate ourselves from it. I definitely think that yes, racism affects everyone every day, affects white people, and upholds benefits us, we uphold it in that way. So I definitely understand the importance of framing it in a mindset, not just like care about that people are being negatively affected, but it's a problem within like the white community as well. Like we have a problem. Focus on the genocide we are causing, the harm that we are causing.
Now, for you, I want to also ask, when it came to understanding in relationality, in relation to other people in society about your gender, what was that like in comparison to try to understand your relationality, your relation to society with your race?
I think, first of all, gender wise, I'm 19, so I'm still kind of like figuring out my place. Especially, I definitely see the difference in how I move and how in my perspective, I think, than cis people around me. And especially since like, there were people in my life that moved in and out of gender expressions from exploring and then figuring out that they are cis, and and I'm like kind of the only one left in there. So I definitely think that I understand my stance more pertaining with race. Just because sorry, I'm trying to word myself here correctly. I think I definitely understand more with how I stand in society with race, just because it is so inherent, something I've been experiencing my whole life. It's not something that I'm kind of like figuring out, like my gender and how that, I definitely think that in relation to how I'm moving as someone who is non-binary, I think that, of course, being white kind of like it obviously shields you from the type of harm that Black and Indigenous and anybody who is not white that experiences. I definitely think that I have more protection. I have more protection moving through spaces because I'm white. And I think that definitely when it comes to passing, even though there's no sort of like way to pass as a non-binary person, I definitely think that it's easier because gender structures in a like cis heteronormative way was built on top of European-centric, white-centric standards. So I understand more. And yes, like in the comments, like where we are white first. I'm white first before anything else because that's what people notice. That's what people notice. I'm white first, and then non-binary, and then I'm bisexual. It's like from visibility, what people can clearly see and point out. But yeah.
So I'm going to have to start challenging you now, okay?
Of course.
So the first thing I want to bring forward is this is a common phenomenon I have as a Black person. is that people are worried of saying the wrong thing. Now, and take in order to shift you from being more focused on being saying the wrong thing and more curious on learning something new. What would need to happen? How do you approach this conversation not from fear, but with curiosity and empathy?
I think, well, I think the most important thing to do when I see, like amongst myself and other white people, that we focus more on like not wanting to say the wrong thing than actually doing the right thing. You know, I think that, I think that actually, I think that the overthinking kind of part, I think I'm definitely, way more curious and active when I'm actually like physically in the, like, physically practicing what I preach, you know? Um, but I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. I'm still kind of nervous. But
No,
yeah.
you're good. I'm just trying to charge my phone because my phone's dying. So I'm listening. I'm just trying to get my own technology listening. But keep going.
Um, I think that I'm just trying to get my words together. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think that I definitely think that curiosity um should I definitely think that curiosity should motivate me to be less like kind of anxious, because I definitely think that if you're too like not worried about saying, like, not worried about saying the wrong thing, but too focused on not saying the wrong thing or not doing this or not doing that, you don't actually get to the action of doing something, and actually being active.
So what's interesting about what you're saying is that um, there's more focus in expressing the word curiosity than necessarily empathy. And so the other thing you mentioned also that I picked up on is that you're talking about like proximity being important. Well, we live in an extremely segregated society. So how many times are you either making yourself in space or by the society happening to be in space around the other marginalized people, especially in a racial way, that's going to allow you to practice that curiosity and empathy.
Right. I definitely experience, or like not experience, but like I definitely notice that type of segregation. Like the people, the close immediate people around me are mostly white. I definitely know that. And it's not for white people to expect Black and Indigenous people, and again, anybody who is not white, to come to us. We need to go to them. I've signed up for like volunteering and like MTPC, which is like a trans political coalition in my state, to try to get more into connection and more into action and connect with other people, and specifically um, Black and Indigenous and just non-white trans people and queer people as well, just to try to make that kind of outreach, because I am still kind of learning what I can do, since like I'm really young. But also it's not, my age is not an excuse. I definitely need to get to work like immediately. So by that, either by that, or like, I do admit that I am very much like isolated right now. Like I do online school and stuff like that. So I'm not really outside a lot. I think that's a privilege, another privilege that I have, just because of just financial, like being white and being like not being affected by any kind of wage gap, not being affected by any kind of discrimination in schooling or housing or anything. So I feel like sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you here. So this, as you're saying this, it reminds me of another thing you said. You had said the word "you're protected from." Now, I'm going to pull in Sam here. Sam, when they mentioned the word protected from XYZ things, the things that they were just listing right now, why would I find fault with that languaging? That they're as a white person saying they're protected from these things. Why would I have a problem with that?
Well, I would say that the word protected, the connotation behind that word, it's too positive. It's not really grounded in realistic, like it's realistic what's happening around us. Um, I think another word could be like, I guess two words, unfortunately, benefit, or there has to be a more what's the word, awareness or actualization that protected is not just, it's double-sided. You're protected and they're not, Black Indigenous people are not protected. So I think the word protected should be rephrased to include more of an empathetic approach to how you're viewing it.
Can I speak?
So, protected kind of does something similar to what Pax was doing earlier. It avoids the fact that you are reaping genocidal extraction. And every day that you exist, and so long as whiteness exists as a construct and you are the inheritor of it, you are reaping the benefits of genocidal extraction. Now, perhaps what you are perceiving, I'm only going to make assumptions, and then I'm going to make space for correction of my assumptions. I'm also have to have my phone sideways because I'm trying to charge my phone. So if there's something really important I'm missing, I'm going to have to just trust that someone will be like, hey, you need to read this, whatever, because I'm seeing text going blue, like this way, so I'm not reading it. Anyway, so, sorry, what was my thought? So, extractive. So, so you might be focusing, well, why is she harping on me on every word I'm saying? And isn't this kind of proving the point of me being nervous? No, I am not actually, I am on the surface addressing the words you use. But like Pax, I'm actually addressing the way things are framed, right? Wording ensures a certain narrative is framed and presented. If that narrative obscures genocide and racial caste, it is showing a comfort, a centering of whiteness to produce comforting, right? You're benefiting from genocidal extraction. You're an inheritor of genocidal extraction. Your lived reality is based on genocidal extraction. Would you happen to notice that's a little bit different than saying I'm protected from X, Y, Z problems? What do you think about that, Kay?
Absolutely, and I do apologize for using the wrong wording. It's 100% benefiting instead of protecting. I do, and I 100% understand why we're focusing on language, because language is just how we communicate and get and take information. And challenging my mindset from my white perspective is 100% what needs to be done, and I should have known that. So thank you so much for the correction, and I also recognize that you 100% shouldn't have to. So yes, I do benefit from the racist caste, the racial caste, and oppressive systems. Yes.
It is okay to say genocide. We're both we're broadcasting from Canada, and so there's not this thing TikTok slop like or shop language modification that's necessary. And I think it's really good to affirm that what is happening is genocide. Um, Now, the other part is, when I hold spaces like this or I have to present something that's challenging, what also comes up with the idea of I'm just trying to be careful with my words, and it happens any age, right? So, um, there are white people that are much, much older than you that respond in the very same way. But that desire is very othering for me to have to constantly experience. Sam, why do you think that when I hear white people saying that they're trying to be careful or mindful with what they say, I feel very othered?
It's like you're kind of talking to. Okay, so I'm gonna use an analogy, and tell me if this is incorrect to say, and I'll never say it again. But it's almost like treating you like a zoo animal and having to tiptoe around to not wake the spectacle or such. And is that wrong to say?
I would say that, well, first of all, just so we know in history, black people have literally been put in zoos.
Yes.
But that's just a fact. I'm just saying that for everyone here who may not know that white people have literally put black people in zoos and even in the same exhibits as like primates. But the thing is with the zoo is there's still that actually that actually might be a deeper analogy. And that's our first mistake because no, yeah, because of the extractive relationship and genocide that white people press upon black people. We are in an open zoo, so actually the analogy is really good. I would advise you, however, to not make that your first analogy with other black people. Like I find it useful for this particular conversation, but you can imagine since black people have a history being literally put in a literal zoo versus the open prison that is the United States that is a metaphorical zoo, we might not want to use that again. But for now, in this conversation, that's a useful analogy. What do you think about that analogy? Not in terms of it's like racism, right or wrong, but like the message is trying to deliver, Kay, that what Sam is describing as another white person observing this phenomena, and obviously perpetuator herself at times, is that it feels othering because it's treating me like I am a dangerous animalistic threat in a zoo, that if you don't say the right word, I'm going to lunge at you. What do you think about that, Kay?
I do want to talk, but I did notice that Pax was raising his hand, and I did just want to.
Their hand. They them.
Thanks.
But
So sorry.
yeah.
So sorry.
No problem. Zara, your audio had been crackling out just a little bit. So if you see me frantically waving, it means that your audio is being wonky.
okay.
Cool.
The best I can do is trying to like leave and come back, but it's just I have a low signal. Is it any better or?
Yeah, it's better now. It was just for like 30 seconds. It was very much garbled. And
Okay.
it was
It's
right
just
in the
the
middle of
signal.
important. Yeah. It's nothing
Okay.
that we can do. But just if you see me
But if I see
frantically
this
waving,
again, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Got
Awesome.
it.
Continue on.
Okay. Yeah. Resume. Okay. Please.
And again, I'm so sorry for misgendering. But yeah, I do 100%. I do 100% understand that I should. I think it does come back to the like not wanting to like that. Yeah, I do think it does go back to doing more harm than having empathy, you know? I do 100% understand that if I say like when I say, or when white people just in general say I don't want to say the wrong thing, that it's not coming off as empathetic or anything, but it's coming off as like at holding back, like it just seems like it's like you're holding back something awful, you know? Or but I do, yeah.
Holding back, why?
I think, again, as I said, when people are saying like I don't want to say something wrong, they're more focused on like optics. I think that white people care more about their image than like our image, than actually like doing the work and being good people, and that's that's like why.
Sam, what do you have to say on that?
Well, I had two things, but the second thing just left me, but I'll get it back. I was going to bring up the example of when I did the exact same thing we're talking about, and the other time, yeah. So I'll probably explain that, because I got it. We don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get yelled at. We're pussy bitches who don't want to get yelled at. So that's it. Maybe not in totality, but so there was some person who came in and said that a certain term, I can't remember what the term was, but a certain term wasn't Ave, but trans slang or trans community speak. And every black or non-indigenous person harped on him. Well, not harped. Hold on. Let me reframe and slow down. They were the only ones to defend Zara. They were the ones to defend their language and culture. And I was too afraid to say the wrong thing. And so I said nothing, which is violent. Because I knew I could have been like, no, dumbass, that's Ave, and you need to shut the fuck up and get out of here. But I didn't, because I was afraid of getting yelled at. I was afraid of Zara yelling at me, and that should not stop me from doing anything. Because I need to learn.
So it's interesting that no matter what I do, no matter how I approach things, no matter how diplomatic I may be, and I want everyone here to listen to this closely, I am still the greater threat. Has anything I have objectively in conversation warranted nervousness? Oh, hello? Now?
Yeah,
Now?
it was only cut out. I
Now?
caught what you were saying, but I
Now?
didn't know if the other people did.
Yes? No?
I hear you.
Yes?
I caught it.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Kay.
I got it. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I 100%, I'm 100% in taking the information. I definitely, there's absolutely no reason for me to be anxious in this situation. There's absolutely no threat here whatsoever. I think it is, again, I think the nervousness is from a hold of white supremacy. I think white supremacy in itself, like when you, as Sam was saying, when you feel that holding back, when you know something's wrong and you, when you hear something, see something that is aiding in genocide, and you don't say anything when you see it, it is white supremacy grabbing that and pushing it down. It is. And to break out of that is to say something, because I do understand, yes, silence is violence 100%. Trying to silence a genocide is violent, yes.
All right. An opportunity. Pax. Sam. This is something I had to spend 3 hours on last time. Now, I'll give you just a quick little hint. I had described to Kay, and I had utilized Sam to help describe the othering I experienced. Then, what did Kay not do? Pax first, Sam second.
They still othered you, didn't apologize for treating you that way, and failed to humanize you.
Now, Sam, since good job, Pax, you got the answer quite quickly. Sam, I'm going to modify the question for you. As I'm assuming you're older than 19, I'm going to have you, in this moment, mother an answer. How would you guide at Kay right now in how to approach what Pax brought up is absent and actually do that? Try to mentor Kay right now to
Well,
humanizing me.
I would, yes. So it might be like you're still focused on doing the right thing, that everything else is kind of going past you, may potentially. Um, I believe you may have centered yourself instead of Zara to help train yourself to do things more appropriately, although that is more of a self-eating situation, because if you haven't stepped outside of that, you're still going to be perpetuating the same white supremacist values. So I think it's important to remember next time, each time we see something wrong or we know we did something wrong, the first thing is, sorry that I did that to you. I'm sorry that I was absent-minded and I wasn't thinking, and that in the space that we're supposed to be doing this, I am so sorry that I spoke that way first. And then once you have that down, that will then guide your brain to more appropriately uh, explain what you really feel and what you really stand for, and not feeling afraid, or feeling afraid of losing white supremacy.
You can bring the person up. I don't know because I'm sideways. So, like, do I do this or do I do this? Bring them up. But anyways, what do you think about what Kay said? Or sorry, what Sam said, Kay?
First of all, thank you so much for guiding me. Second of all, I do.
Okay, you're quiet to me.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
there you
sorry.
are.
It, am I better? Do I just have to speak a little louder, or? Okay. So first of all, I do want to apologize for centering myself in that. That is absolutely unacceptable, and I am sorry for making you feel othered, or in any sense. I do, because that is a part of, obviously that is a part of the harm that white supremacy and then white people perpetrate. I definitely, and I definitely think that I definitely think, just in general, the othering upholds the supremacy in that racial caste. So I am deeply sorry for that. I do, I do stutter a lot. I'm sorry. But yeah, I do have a long way to go with with navigating myself in these spaces. So yes, I'm very deeply sorry. But
So, oh,
yes.
so what I'm going to ask you is this: what is it like? Because a lot of this work, I'm going to interrupt myself. A lot of the work I'm doing, if you notice, I don't have a board behind me. I don't have a fancy slideshow. I don't have this long ass speech prepared, right? Because you can bring that person if they're since they're saying they're trans, they can bring them up. And well, I guess we'll ask all the questions that verify themselves up here when they get up here. Anyway, so focus. So you notice I don't have any like big information things, right? Because what we're having to do, what I'm doing, is I'm going deep into your subconscious, right? Just as my opening says, I know how you frame yourself. I know what you say about yourself, but I have to go deep in there and then grab the white supremacy that is actually in your consciousness that you may even deny yourself consciously and subconsciously is there. And then yank it. And then I have to be like, see, this is the thing you're doing. You see it now? Well, now that I've pulled it from the far back. I saw your hand, Sam, just a moment, and I pull it, and I'm like, I put it right here for you to see with your eyes. So my question, and then after you answer the question, Kay, we'll go to Sam. But I do have this question.
Hey, I have to say something real quick. Hey, yo, fuck them trans people. Hey, yo,
Okay.
fuck them right in the butt.
Oh,
Does that make you feel bigger?
that's so mature. Can you please rid of this person? It's really boring. Like it actually, okay, that's genuinely boring. Anyway,
Sorry.
so
Anyhow, back to what you were saying.
yeah, so have to see it with your eyes. What is it like being a queer person, a gender variant person, and feeling and experiencing your queerness, but now more consciously seeing your racism? What is that like?
Okay. I definitely. I'm just trying to gather my words.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that seeing like my whiteness in relation to my queerness definitely like I definitely think that there is definitely just an inherent like I think it fights against itself. I definitely think that whiteness and queerness at the same time, like both of those structures, something that is trying to uphold genocidal, like oppressive structures, and something that is trying to break away from it, is contradicting itself and fighting itself. I think that is also like a reason why people that are I definitely think that it's sorry, I'm losing track.
Mm-hmm.
I am diagnosed with anxiety, so I'm just trying to pull myself together.
Would breathing together help?
I'm yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Pax, would you like to lead breathing or shall I do it?
Oh, sorry, Celeste. I just let you up right away. You're welcome anytime. Would square breathing be okay?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
If you can and are available to put your feet onto the floor and to get within your chest and feel your breath, and you're going to breathe in and hold it for 2 seconds and hold 1, 2, and exhale 1, 2. And wait. 1, 2. And breathe in. 1, 2. And hold. 1, 2. And exhale. 1, 2. And wait. 1, 2. And inhale. 1, 2. And hold. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2. How are you feeling?
I'm definitely feeling better. Thank you so much. And I definitely don't want to censor myself at all with that. So I do apologize.
No, it's okay. It's when we have anxiety and we're feeling anxious and there's medical things, there are sometimes where we need to go through them. And the fact that we're still here working through them to go forward, we will always do that. Zara has been wonderful accommodating me with my various different disabilities, and so you're okay, and it's okay to be uncomfortable. This is an unsafe but a safe space to be uncomfortable.
It is a protective space for Black and Indigenous people, but this will not be tolerated to be a harmful space for disability and the various needs within disability. We do not get to weaponize people, regardless of their background, people's disability as a way to other them or harm them because they may be perpetuating racism. You do not use. Now, if a bunch of Black people were like, fuck you, bitch, XYZZ racist bitch, I'd be like, okay. But if people are mocking or disrupting or trying to harm specifically because they know or are trying to harm your neurodivergence against you, that's wrong. You see what I'm saying? Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. So, again, let's try the question one more time. What's it like? And then you don't have to repeat the whole answer, just if there was a little more you wanted to add. If not, you can just say, I said what I need to say, and then we'll move on. What is it like navigating your queerness in this genocidal white supremacist society and now seeing more of your concrete behavior that is racist in your frame of references, of framing of how you even approach Black people? You see the racism in it. What is that like?
I definitely stand by like queerness and whiteness is definitely contradicting itself and just the structure of it and my whiteness and compared to my queerness. I definitely. Oh, I'm sorry. My dad is calling. 1 second.
Yep, go ahead. We'll move on for now. Sam first and then Pac second. What's it like seeing a younger than you, younger white gender variant person navigating this topic? What's it like watching it in this youth?
The word beautiful comes to mind because that might be too gratifying. Um, it fills me with positive energy. It has me ready for conversation. It has me ready for deconstructing. And the more people we have on here, the more the merrier. And it's very, I'd say it can be anyone at any age. And when I see that, it's inspiring, especially a young person. It's like, it sounds to me that she's doing more than what I did when I was her age,
They.
or their age, their age. Sorry, my apologies. Um, and I can really only applaud because I see them crunching and doing the mechanisms in the brain to fight and morally see it as wrong. There's a lot of different things happening in their brain that that prove that they are deconstructing racism and throwing out the white supremacist in their head wire by wire. It's very cool.
Thank you, Sam. What about you, Pax?
I actually have a little bit of a different view on that.
Mm-hmm.
it is and being that I'm probably much older than most people here, it's frustrating for me. Like, it's not surprising that I would have to work on this, but it's frustrating for me that this hasn't been, that there's not more work been done, that I'm in the same class as somebody much younger. I would have hoped that by this time that this issue would have been more unpacked and been more elevated to that they wouldn't have to do this work. So is it great? Sure. I'm glad that anybody's working to do this. I'm glad when people unpack their biases in cisgendered and cisbodied people. Um, but I can't find any joy in it. It should already been done by now. And so I'm like, okay, well, like, that's awesome, but we still have so much more to do.
I have a request. Here's what's going to happen, or I would like to ask. One is, I'm going to do that what I kind of did last time. I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to be quiet. And what I would like in that quiet and stepping back of myself, I would like you two, and when Kay comes back, or any other person that comes up, basically abdicating my presence other than listening, I would like you two, as white trans people, to have a conversation about what was just said between you two. How Sam had one perspective, Pax has the other, and what else may come from that. I think it is, in my opinion at least, conversation worthy. I mean, at some point, if you feel that it is too forced, you'll just say, I have nothing more to say, and then the other person will say, okay, and then, when you get to that point, we'll move on. And the second thing is, I would actually like you all to do the check-in that Davina wrote for me a while back in the comment section when she was trying to lead a check-in for me. I would actually like you to practice that. So, okay, now I'm going to mute myself, and I would love to hear you two, and including Kay now, have a conversation about what you were just talking about.
Sure. Let me just get my glasses so I can see the check-in that Davina wrote for you. Was it in a text or was it in a chat?
It was just a check-in. Like, how are you doing? Like, I acknowledge the violence the racial violence you just went through. Like, how are you feeling? Things like that.
Yeah.
But go ahead with the conversation. I'm much more curious about that. Please do.
Okay.
It's a good conversation. I could go first with my thoughts if no one else has anything.
Please.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Please.
Yeah, you can go first if you want.
Sure. It's a very nuanced and interesting contrast and perspective. I'm 29. I am not sure your age. I have a lot of, righteous, spontaneity. I still have, like, I can tell if I was your age, I would have a similar perspective, I would see, because viewing it from your shoes, it's like we are just unpacking this, and as a 29-year-old who grew up in a very white, rich white area, I'm like, yeah, it's totally new to me and I'm doing it and it's gonna be great and we're gonna deconstruct racism and, very naive. It's a very, very interesting contrast. And I honestly, I see pros and cons in each. I would say, I can only speak from, well, I don't know, the energy that I can bring and accelerate can shift, and then the realism that you experience that, like, it's not done yet can also shift people's minds at the same time. I think both are good tactics. Personally, the frustration, I can see that now, but since I believe there might be an age thing that, I'm 29, I'm 10 years older than Kay, but I feel maybe more closely aligned to that age than, I'm not sure your age, so I don't want to ask her anything, but yeah, I guess I have a more positive look, but I am naive, so it might be coming from that kind of place.
I guess for me, since I'm arguably the oldest person here, I'm 48. Um, I'm disappointed that I have so much unpacking to do, and I would have hoped that by your age, Sam, and then the generation next, Kay, that there would be a lot less unpacking to do because society has failed. And so I really see it as a failure on people my age for not acknowledging it, not bearing witness, and not changing the system of oppression. Um, and not humanizing people. It makes me ill to think that I have dehumanized people and that I have been complacent in this society and haven't done enough, that your generation and your generation still have to do the same amount of work that I do. It makes me very, very sad. It makes me glad that people are doing the work and want to do the work, and I hope that you know, Kay, you'll continue to do the work because you're gonna outlive me, and that this next generation for fiercely fights for the rights and the humanization of the Black community and the Black trans community, because as a hi Vidal, as somebody who's gone through a lot of the protesting and marches and advocacy and things, for years and years and years and years, we still don't acknowledge Black trans folk, and they were the ones that started. We celebrate Pride, but we forget about the Cooper Donut riot and the Compton cafeteria riots, and these things all started long before we decided to step up, because we just, we're saved by our whiteness. You okay, Zara? Perfect. It's, yeah, for me, like I said, being older, I wish that more work had been done, and so I would hope that the foundations get laid, and so that it'll be a snowball effect, and to incorporate faster, because it's sad. So yeah, it's great young people are getting involved, but it should have already been done. Like this should have already been done. I'm out of things to say.
I 100% agree. I agree with your perspective on it. 100%. I should have already known and should have already gotten the work done. Since birth. Like, I think that it's definitely urgent that people, and I am 19, by the way, Sam. I think that it is urgent for white people in my generation and younger put in the work at the very beginning. It should be going on in like immediately when we enter school. I definitely think that there is nothing like, as you said, like there's nothing to like joyous about this. It is, the work should have already been done. There is no, like, as you said, like there's no applause or anything. This should have already been done, and I do admit that I don't know a lot. I'm kind of just getting into actually being like politically active and gathering like my bearings and everything. And I admit that, and it is a failing on my part, and my age is no excuse whatsoever. So yeah, I do 100% agree with Pax on this.
I did have one other thing to mention. The for PAX. Maybe I can try to help alleviate, because the timing with the technology and the communication we have, things are going faster. So what I'm seeing is when you were in your 20s versus us in our 20s, things are so much faster. So what I see is a little bit of hope. Sorry, I see is a little bit of hope that the work will accelerate faster now than it did before. So it's like, it obviously should have been done, but I kind of in the perspective that, like, I can't not care about how much time it's been. We're doing it right. We need to do it like now. Like, um, so I guess I just wanted to maybe alleviate some dread that, like, so much time has passed and we're just starting. I I would, say that we're doing it a little more quicker, with the communication and technology, and especially just the mindset that Generation Z has. It is very, yeah. Go on, I'm done now.
Go ahead, Zara.
All right, it's time for me to enter this conversation. I appreciate you all humoring me, but there's some thoughts I have and some notes. So, first of all, Kay, it is true you do not know a lot, but this topic, right, isn't about knowledge, or isn't about, excuse me, because knowledge is a specific blending of data, information, and wisdom. This isn't about information or data. This is about wisdom and emotional relating, right? Remember earlier how I said I don't have a fancy, presentation behind me. I don't have a slideshow, whatever, right? Like, I'm not presenting in terms of information and data. Notice I should be entirely absent of that. Perhaps the only information I presented is that Black people have been in zoos, and that white people held Black people in zoos with primates. Everything else, though it feels, wow, I'm learning. Still clear? There, it went, so did pull connection for a second. I'm choppy. Am I not choppy? Not choppy? Not clear? Okay, great. So I'm assuming I can, yeah, yeah, not choppy. Okay. Everything that we've been discussing is about how your nervous system, how you are socially perceiving and conducting yourself with the genocided, with the oppressed, with the racially marginalized. This didn't require information. This is much more closer to ethics and philosophy and a social consistency along with those. You don't need to know anything to have an ability to relate to people on a humanizing level. Is that correct, Kay? Or do you need to know stuff first?
You're 100% correct. I definitely think that inherently with my whiteness and the perspective that comes with it, that system with that system, there is blind spots, and that's how it is. That's how whiteness is upheld. That I don't actually. Oh, sorry.
But I just want you to confirm just very yes or no. But you see how that's not information, that's not data, correct? So, what do you think of when you said then, you don't know much? Now, what do you think about that statement now that I've challenged you on this?
I definitely think when I say I don't know much, I don't mean it in a knowledge sense. I think it's that with my own like perspective of whiteness, that comes with like like the white identity and perspective is upheld by blind spots and not actually I think it's not actually like like I think that it's I think that with white perspective and identity it's hard to like acknowledge. I think that we're like white people are shielded a lot, like not from like or not will benefit from, and then are not acknowledging the harm that Black and Indigenous people go through. I feel like that's why I mean I can't. I'm still learning my place in that like racial caste and how I benefit and how I'm benefiting from that harm. I mean that, and that's what I mean is that I'm learning. I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize. But in this case, now, Sam, do you see what I'm trying to present to this young person? That it's not about information or data?
I do. It's something that we should innately all have. Um, it's under everything. I feel like the way capitalism has warped us, we have lost connection with that innate human understanding, especially in America. So I think when Kay says, I don't know enough, it might be talking about awareness or, um, and I think that awareness is a self project to keep digging into and breaking through, old patterns. So I believe the point Zara is trying to say to Kay is that you can study all you want, but it, holding the door for someone, holding the door, like this kind of innate human connection, it you could, it doesn't take a degree, to do that. You have to trust yourself, believe yourself.
Oh, keep finishing. I didn't realize there was a pause. My bad. Do you have more to say?
I was just saying, remember to trust yourself and believe yourself, and remember who you're talking to. How should I say this? A person, a Black or Indigenous person, if you're trying and say the wrong thing and you're learning, no one's gonna come through the screen and attack you. I believe what Zara is trying to do is her best at including us and challenging us so that we can actually do something for her and so she doesn't have to starve and die, you know? Uh, sorry. But that's kind of what I think is going on. To remind yourself that you don't need a degree for this. You just, you know, got to see people as human, and that doesn't take much, or it shouldn't.
Um, so I just want to also say it's not just for me getting help, which is necessary, and others like me, like I don't want to be outed, but people in the chat, like Mystic, for example, all of us that are Black and trans need help. But remember, why am I doing this? I'm not doing it just because me and my own are fighting still for any basic non-genocidal existence within the society. If we don't figure this out and then put praxis, that is political action, to practice, praxis into practice, we all go. It won't be at the same rate or at the exact same time. But sweetheart, Sam, Kay, Cax, anyone else here that's trans in the chat that isn't BIPOC as well, we all go into the meat grinder. ICE is building fucking furnaces. Okay? They are building furnaces, bitches. Okay? If we don't solve this shit and we don't actually have consistent self-protective mutual aid and praxis for each other across all ethnic and disability lines and actually be a revolutionary force that can actually be capital Q queer radical, we all eventually cease. It's that bad. Take it from the people who are much closer to the meat grinder and the furnaces. I feel the heat, okay? I hear the machines whirring. And I have a long experience noticing those machines. And that was just because I wasn't trans, not because I'm trans, but in this case because I was black. I'm very much used to hearing the sound of those whirring machines. Now I'm starting to hear more because I'm trans. Not to say I wasn't in danger my whole life, but this is a new accelerated structural level of literally building furnaces, okay? So this is literally for all of us life or death. Otherwise, I'm fucking exhausted. I want to lay down and just cry my eyes out with everything I've gone through, but bitch, we don't got the time. And I'm also up here in Canada, and so I need to utilize that privilege to its full extent. And so if I'm not having to try to survive the furnaces in the country anymore, then I need to be trying to help, with many others in different spaces I may or may not know, co-lead us to capital Q radicalism, or we all fucking die. It's that bad within the United States. And they will then try to keep polluting that politics up into Canada as well. It would just be a matter of time. So the other thing is that I have to challenge you now, Sam, after challenging what Kay said during the conversation. Now, you were trying to be like, at least as I'm internalizing, like, hey, there's hope, like technology moving things faster, whatever. And I don't mean that, no, okay, I mean that a little shade, actually. I mean that a little shade. Or that would be a lie if I said I didn't mean to be any dismissiveness. No, I mean a little shade. Because what that's saying, I want to take the inverse of what you're saying, right? So this side is saying, hey, Pax, if, yes, that's right, Mercury. Hey, Pax, there's hope because we have the technology now, and that means our communication is faster, and like all these things can move faster. I want you to imagine, Sam, what I'm hearing on the inverse. Zara, it takes these fucking phones for us to try to figure shit out to maybe stop genociding you. We all know here the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is the fucking think tank behind Project 2025 and all the things that are listing out as trans people to literally kill us all and brand us all PDF files in a legal structural sense so they can have other ways of listing us and othering us from society and have an active and either active or quote unquote passive, both simultaneously, genocide. The passive version meaning just simply denying you from resources for self-sustenance, and thus without using a single bullet you die from atrophy. Project 2025 is not Heritage Foundation's only work. They have actually also been effective, with an A, with Reagan. Okay, that think tank is so long that they had those kind of fucking documents, project whatever fucking year that would have been, for him as well. So that when he hit the presidency, he just started signing shit and doing all the evil, fashy things himself, okay? When I hear that white people needed fucking phones to stop genociding Indigenous and Black people, I cry bullshit, because there has been a multitude of right-wing factions who have worked together with a synergy and collective desire against all technological barriers decades prior in order to formulate horrific foundations of a furthering, it was already genocidal, furthering genocidal state entity and enterprise, and continue to do so up to the present. If white people need the internet and telephones in order to learn how to stop genociding people, what the fuck would that say about you all? Pax, do white people need telephones, cell phones, smartphones, and the internet to learn how to stop being fucking genocidal?
No. No, that was part of my disappointment that I was complacent in teaching the next generation how to treat people as in human beings because I did not treat people as human beings. That's my failure. That's my generation's failure.
Okay, what's it like being in such a basic ass class of humanizing black people as someone who's much older than you when you look at Pax? What is that like?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I'm so sorry.
So let's do a little quick practice though. Do you mind asking me again to repeat myself without shaming yourself in the process through your anxiety?
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, I can repeat. Thank you, Kay. I'm asking, when you see Pax here after they just shared that their generation as your queer elders, your olders, right? Their failure to pass down not being racially, in racial caste system terms, genocidal, that they failed to pass that down to you. I then took on that, and then I asked you, Kay, what's it like being in the same basic ass 101 class about humanizing black people, thus to stop being genocidal of black people as this much older than you person? What is that like?
I'm gonna be blunt. It's shameful and it is disappointing. I definitely think that when I see older people having the same basic, barely like this in the same 101 class and basic deconstructing, it is definitely it reminds me of people in my family. It reminds me of my parents. It reminds me of just the people that raised me, I definitely think that it's just shining a light on how much how much white people have failed, how far the harm has had to go for us to for us to just now be doing this kind of work and actually talking about it. And even then there needs to be way more white people, way more white queer people in here and doing that work. So we still have a far way to go. So I definitely think that it is while it is very disappointing, it makes me want to put in the work twice as hard.
So, let me take a moment to form my thoughts because I just lost it. Give me just a moment, please, if everyone can just remain for a moment. I got it back. Thank you for waiting. So, another part is talking about this failure that Pax is presenting from their generation. Frankly, y'all as white people, colloquially, right, in terms of just easy language navigation. Otherwise, if we have everything that we said as correctly as possible, it would be too fucking mouthy. Like, technically, I would not like to use the term integration for various reasons we won't get into right now. But I say integration because colloquially, it is the easiest to kind of talk about race mixing and like putting the ethnic groups, the racial groups together, right? But actually say something more long-winded and right. So that's the same thing with white people and community. Really, y'all don't actually really have community. Not in the same way that the marginalized and the oppressed who historically and through the need of survival have community. All of that to say is because of that absence of community, you don't fucking mentor each other. You don't pass shit down. You don't actually talk to each other in a teaching formation, much less one that is from older or more knowledgeable passing down to younger. The only way you do that is you facilitate everything through fucking money. It has to be, I'm teaching my students. I have a student that's an apprentice at my trade school. But when it comes to getting out of the fucking house and just fucking teaching someone at their own home on a phone call, or just a neighbor or a friend or a loved one that isn't your blood kin, or fuck, even your own blood kin, you don't mentor really. You don't fucking mentor each other. The only reason you three whites are talking to each other is because I'm instructing you to. I'm forcing in my cultural wisdom and praxis so that you now actually experience white on white peer support and mentorship. I want you three to comment on that. Pax first, Kay second, Sam third.
It's hard because I run peer support and classes and things like that, but I don't, and I try to be a mentor for people. I've lost my thought. Can you restate the question again? Sorry.
Yes, I can. So I was mentioning that white people as a whole, they do not mentor. They do not teach each other outside of the exchange of money being necessary, right? Like a teacher teaches a student, that's a paid position. A tradesperson teaches an apprentice, that's a paid thing. It is very rare, if damn near non-existent, that white people teach and mentor each other, be it emotional guidance, wisdom, sharing of wisdom, or even informational, not like knowledge, like trades and stuff, outside of anything with money. So it's only now, right, getting these fucking white people to talk to each other here, right? I'm the one facilitating that, right? So what is that like? And that's why I was trying to get a response about that fact.
Um, I'm in a lot of different groups, and I try, because I've realized that I'm older and that the younger trans community will look up to me. So I have been trying to become a better person, to unpack a lot of what my life has been, so that I can be a better mentor. I I feel very grateful that I have this chance with you, that I can have this experience and have this public experience, so that people can see, as an older person, that you're able to unpack and work towards things. I want what I'm doing in my life to help people, either by my experience or by my words. And so I want people who are older to step up and unpack their things. And I feel grateful that I have you to lead us on how to unpack this, because this isn't an area where I'm capable to do it by myself. I don't know if that answers the question at all, or if I just went off on a tangent.
It's not about a correct answer. I'm just asking for your response of what I'm presenting to you to think about.
Yeah, I try and be a role model for my children. Um, I try and be a role model because I do have a very public volunteer life. I try and be a role model in that way, and so I I hope that people watching this, if they can't come up and speak about it, can at least learn things by um, by my example, um, and learn how to lead by your example, because I think you teaching us how to facilitate conversation that way is important as well.
Okay.
I definitely with you saying that there is no like white people don't have community. I think that it is definitely inherent to white behavior and to be individualistic. The amount of the inhumane mindset that you have that white people have that we have towards people in general, even towards people in our own like the other white people, not creating any kind of community even in our own families. I definitely think that obviously that is a part of a part of white supremacy and upholding it and continuing it. I think that especially when it comes to like say like a white person has like racist family members, I think that we're way too fast to like like we'd rather cut these people off than actually do the work. Like that's what I've seen amongst other white people, that they're not actually taking it upon themselves to educate other people, and that leads to Black and Indigenous people having to do it. I definitely think that one of the main things that I need to do in my own life is is educate and learn with my family on how to better ourselves as people and not continue this harm. I definitely think that we're not so much as like a community as just a group with with similar traits, and just a group that has the same like privilege and are doing the same harm. I do think that we 100% need to take it upon ourselves to educate each other before it gets to a point like this where you're having to educate us, and as you said, putting your own experience and your own wisdom of community into this conversation, which shouldn't even have to happen. We should be facilitating this work.
Sam?
I want to thank you for extending this knowledge to us. Um, I mentioned before how insulting it is for you to have to do this and have us try to save you. Um, I feel like with what Zara just did, shot an arrow through capitalism and the whole white supremacy structure. Because and with it's like with what Kay just said, we need to do it ourselves. I'm not going to challenge that, but I think, well, we obviously couldn't do it without Zara or Black and Indigenous thought and compassion. Uh, it throws my phone comment in the trash, and I realized, I didn't say, but I realized that I was only doing that to help Pax feel better, and not, and which is a centering Pax, centering whiteness, and not helping the actual issue. it gets me thinking about the generational difference between the three of us, um, and how one singular person, Zara, just in a couple sentences explained what we've been trying to do for centuries or millennia, like what as white, Caucasian, Anglo-Saxon people, I guess. It just throws a hole. It just puts a massive hole into whiteness or white supremacy. Because Zara just grouped us and we're having this conversation. We would have never done that with ourselves. We need Black and Indigenous thought to be able to. Well, need is the wrong word, or the context and where I'm saying it is incorrect. Um, because it's almost like the whole point of integration. Integration live is to um.
Girl, her phone is struggling.
I'm sorry. I'm going back and
That's
forth with
okay.
my notes. Can't wait. Can you not hear me when I read my notes?
You teacup, honey.
Wait, what?
You teacup.
When you go to your
Like,
notes, we can't hear you.
watch me real quick, right? Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Can you
You
hear
do
her?
that.
Oh, okay. So do I? Okay, I can. Okay.
You
So I
can
guess I'll start.
teacup. It's okay to teacup. Just remember, you're gonna have to pause what you're saying, get the
Right.
information, come back and say what you need to say.
Okay. So basically, on what I'm saying is, in a few sentences, Zara poked a hole right in white supremacy in itself. I mentioned it. There was my phone comment goes right in the trash. Because I was trying to help Pax feel better instead of centering what we need to be, like the issues that we need to be centering. Damn, I was going on a real nice flow there. Uh, it seems obvious that the three of us cannot do it ourselves. Um, obviously, and with the generational difference between us, the three of us are still very much in the dark. Uh, and Zara so easily just raised that arrow and connected all three of us, and we can have an honest discussion. Whereas we would have never been able to do that without Zara or Black and Indigenous perspective, thought, collective ideas, empathy, ethics. Uh, Whiteness has been going against that purposely, and look where it brought us. The three of us are so fucking angry. We want to do the right thing, but we literally don't know how, and it's embarrassing. In the community, what Zara's talking about, mentoring each other, because we're so individualistic, like a comment said. I can't, who said that? Sorry, I can't see who said that. But, wait, actually, let me look who said that. Mystic said that. At the same time, these generations, which would have to battle with generational hate, uh, I'm losing my train, but essentially, like we can't do this without everybody here. We can't solve white supremacy ourselves. Uh, that's not going to work. We're just going to eat our own tail over and over again. Um, and so I'm thinking the words need and require, but I don't like those words to for Zara as a person to have to do anything. Um, but I guess what we need, or what's the better word, for our safety, for our collective safety, and not to get shot in the head or killed, uh, we need we need to really listen and throw our previous all of our previous understandings away, because I grew up without Black people in my life. I don't have, well, I don't really have any friends, but I have only grown up with white people, and like, in the school of like what, like 98% white. Uh, there was no way I could do this without Zara, or without someone, a Black or Indigenous person willing to put themselves in this position, which I need to just, I don't think that's so fucking terrible. That is like a last resort kind of ditch effort here. But I'd say it's working for now, in a small scale. It can grow. Um, I don't have anything else to say currently.
Davina, are you available? I know Davina's in the audience, but are you available right now? Davina. Davina. Would you please come
She
up,
says
please?
yes.
I summon thee. You are my supernatural summon in my Final Fantasy game. All right, Davina,
Hey, Davina.
I would like you to comment on Sam saying that white people need black and indigenous people to gain this wisdom. What are your thoughts and feelings about that?
I think while there is truth to that, there is enough because there's enough like academic there's enough already accessible information to us that we have every resource to be able to do this ourselves. That we actually, in fact, have to do it ourselves. Now, I from my experience, when we begin to do the work, deconstruct and all that stuff, we will naturally gain proximity to black and BIPOC people, black, indigenous, and other people of color. We will just naturally gain that proximity to where we will have people that we've built relationships with that will offer those corrections when needed. And yes, in that way, like, there is a need for other people to be around, because having all white anything is just a recipe for disaster. But it's not like we don't need to be dependent on.
So here's a question for all of you. And the order will go Kay, Pax, Sam, Davina. And I'll remember the order. How much from reading, from watching videos or documentaries, and any way that you've consumed media in regards to colonialism, racism, oppression, etc., all the isms. As you have read or consumed this material through media, how much wisdom, how much ability to interpersonally, empathetically relate to the oppressed has it provided for you thus far? Okay?
I definitely think that any of the books I read, any of the research or information, or any resources that are out here to educate and to educate us white people to deconstruct racism. I definitely think that I definitely think that aside from knowledge, as you had informed me the difference between knowledge and wisdom and everything, I definitely think that the wisdom that it's given me, or a more perspective, perspective to empathize and everything. I think that it comes with how it's presenting to me how much like harm I'm causing and the benefit from that harm, and how dehumanizing it is inherently. I think that it's definitely just given me a better concept of understanding on a wider scale. Because with my whiteness, it is intertwined with practically basically inhumane tendencies and behavior. I think while I'm intaking information, it's always at the same time work to confront my own behavior and how I am acting. And yes,
If you don't mind, I'm going to try to help you narrow a little bit, okay? With the documentaries, however the media was, like books, graphic novels, whatever, about colonization and about other forms of oppression, how much wisdom do you think you've gained from that taking in?
I think I don't really know how to put it on like a scale or something. I definitely think that I definitely think that I sorry, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together. I definitely think that any time that I'm approaching any kind of resources to educate myself further, that coming at it with like ready to empathize, ready to deconstruct the ways that I have been dehumanizing to other people. I think that is the type of wisdom that it's given me, more in relation to like empathizing and kind of trying to see from like, I'm sorry if this isn't making any sense. Trying to see from different perspectives, trying to get out of that white-centered mindset. I definitely think that there's a lot of like emotional work as well that needs to be done, and that I do during that time, because it is does go hand in hand. I'm sorry. I did want to check in because someone in the comments did say something.
So, what I'm hearing right now, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm doing this to STEM. This is helping me STEM essentially. I'm tracing this placemat. It helps me focus a little bit. So, you're saying the consumption of media that has been about colonialism and such has opened you to the concept of empathetic connection to the marginalized, but it's not necessarily giving you actual know-how to do that. Is that correct?
Is this a yes or no answer?
It's a whatever, how you ever want to answer it. I'm intending to be, but that's only if I'm actually getting close to what you're saying.
And yes, I do. Yes, I do. When I do 100%, like, I do think that putting it to practice is difficult than more like more difficult than actually, like, like learning kind of um
The
the actual
concept.
concept of empathy. Yeah, like the actual concept of empathy and actually putting that to practice is like I'm just trying to like navigate it because it is kind of within whiteness a little foreign, you know. Um, um, I'm sorry, I'm losing track. Yes.
That's okay. I'm going to encourage you while we move on to the next person to take several muted, steady breaths for yourself, okay? So we're going to move on to Pax and ask the same question. In terms of reading books, taking in documentaries, whatever forms of media about colonization, about oppression, about all the isms of society, this genocidal society, how much wisdom do you think it's actually given you and help you develop?
Depends on what mode of media that I'm in. I'm trying to break the question down. I was trying to break the question down in my head when they were answering. Um, the most wisdom that I have got is by sitting back and listening in on Black Lives, and it doesn't matter if it's anti-racism live or a live where they're just speaking, um, to get some education behind, so I can communicate better, to use better terminologies and wording. I don't find reading that helpful with gaining empathy. I don't read very well. Same with like listening to books. I enjoy listening to them. I just don't find that they're adequate. Um, when I can listen to somebody and see them and see how it affects them, and that gives me a better empathy of things that people are going through. Um, and I just wanted to check in with you. Are you okay?
Oh, I feel fucking miserable, but keep going.
Okay. Is there anything I can do to help?
Just keep answering. Keep going.
Okay. Um, yeah. There's always more that I can do. Um, to unpack and to learn and to
Thank you.
help and better empathize.
Sam,
Yes.
how much
I remember.
wisdom do you feel you've gained from consuming media about colonialism, genocide, otherism, etc.? All the isms of this genocidal society. How much wisdom have you gained from consuming media?
An amount. Uh, if it's remarkable or not, I can't say, but I see a difference. Um, I'd say with a big part of gaining wisdom for me personally is stepping outside my ego. I have a large ego. I think I'm a shit, and that's the problem.
One
Uh,
moment, please. Hi, sweetie. Do you mind muting your microphone? 'Cause it's echoing. Thank you. Resume.
Thank you. Um, so a big part of that wisdom comes from not only listening to what Black and Indigenous people have to say, but the facial expressions they make. Uh, like someone had just said, the visible pain um, really penetrates me, uh, and it invokes a a a motivation. Um, so I feel like it's the way you view the media, the way you intake it, helps promote the wisdom that you gain from it. And I feel like the wisdom comes from after you act, after you make material change. Uh, uh, Wisdom isn't complete until you've really done it full circle. You observed it, you took it in, you thought about it, you thought about how to be respectful. You went out there, you changed someone's life for the better. That's white saviorism. You assisted someone who is dying. You know, that in a position that I will never experience. Uh, you know, so big part of gaining that wisdom for me is attacking my ego and going out there and
I'm going to if I may interrupt you.
yeah,
I wanted to narrow your answer because my question was specifically just the media, not other ways
I'm
of
thinking
how you're gaining it,
right.
just simply how much the media itself. So I'm going to move on from you now, unless you insist otherwise. Davina, how much has media, graphic novels, documentaries, websites, movies, etc., how much, and from those sole sources, that is not interpersonal interactions, how much has that helped you gain wisdom?
I would say that specifically on those that you named, because we've had a conversation, but sticking to what you just named, I would say that there's wisdom, but a large percentage of it is not. It's just information. It's not being applied.
Repeat the last sentence or two of your answer, please. Apologies, if you would.
Yeah, I said it's really not. It's not. It's just information, and it's not being applied.
Okay, thank you. Before I proceed, hello, Black Diamond Goddess. Did you want to say anything? How are you
Oh
doing?
no, I just want to say sorry that I'm late. I was handling some other things and other
Of
affairs.
course, of course. So right now you're just wanting to listen?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here is what I'm gathering, okay? Everyone else. I will be specific when talking to the other Black person on the panel. So presume that if I'm saying you all, etc., it is you white people, non-Black Indigenous people on the panel. None of you have presented with me an answer that assures me what your morality says. So once again, here is how we have the conundrum of your belief systems versus what you actually do. And for the marginalized like myself, what you say versus the end results of your actions. You say and you believe that you don't, except in case of Sam in this case, that you don't, or more correctly, you all say you shouldn't need Black and Indigenous people. But when I ask you about media and how much it's given you wisdom, you have essentially answered not much. Then we mix with what we talked about prior, which is that as white people, outside of financial exchange, and only because of financial exchange, that's the only time you teach each other anything. You don't mentor. It leaves me wondering, what the fuck do you do? Because you don't teach each other unless money is involved. You don't mentor each other unless money is involved. And the media you consume about colonization, oppression, systemic violence, and isms is at best giving you knowledge, but then it's not applied into interpersonal empathetic wisdom. So if you're not humanly investing in each other and the books and media ain't doing shit, then how the fuck do you get away from this codependency with Black and Indigenous people to have closer proximity to humanity? Would any of you like to answer that question?
I need to think.
It's a really
Open
complex
panel.
questions, and I didn't quite catch all of that. Can you reiterate it? Like, I'm really trying to understand the question.
So earlier, we had mentioned that white people don't fucking mentor. They don't teach unless there's money involved, right? So you don't do that. You do not interpersonally, that is, you don't socially invest in each other, right? Because you don't have community. And then when you're reading books or taking in documentaries or websites, anything about colonization, genocide, all the isms of this genocidal society, you're all saying that it's not giving you any wisdom really, or at best it's giving you the concepts of being empathetic, but not the applied wisdom to do it. So if the media that you take in can't do it, and then you don't interpersonally or socially invest in each other, which means you don't have the peer emotional social interaction with each other to teach each other either, then how the fuck, if you put that together, are white people supposed to learn these things and gain wisdom with outside of this codependency that you all have with Black and Indigenous people to help you teach you how to be human beings? Go ahead, Sam.
It has me thinking about saying the wrong thing. And saying the wrong thing, I've learned, isn't about respecting you. It's about not getting in sort of trouble. There's two things that I'm thinking. One, the safety and security of white supremacy. We adhere to that. Two, uh, what is it? Shit. Um, fuck. Um,
It's not a race. It's
I
about
know.
actual learning and development. Take your time, and Davina will be after you.
Would you mind refreshing? I think my brain needs another.
Yes. So,
Thank you.
what we have been doing this entire time, as well as last time, is attempting to teach wisdom, empathy, and wisdom. The wisdom to actually be empathetic.
Right.
That has been interpersonal. That means I've been teaching you socially, right? In
Right.
relationship to me, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. Your belief systems are that, morally speaking, you shouldn't need Black and Indigenous people to teach you anything about any of this. But when
Right.
we look at what you're doing to make sure you don't need Black and Indigenous people, it's fucking nothing. Because you don't have the elders to teach you that wisdom, because you don't mentor, and you don't get the wisdom from books and other forms of media that you take in about these topics, about racism, etc. So if the books can't do it and you don't have mentors, then how the fuck do you take your idea that Black and Indigenous people should not be codependently needed to teach about colonialism to the colonizers? How do you take that concept and actually put it to practice?
For me, I say I'm thinking, well, if you got to figure out why we're doing it, you got to look at a root. And I think there's a connection between saying the wrong thing and helping uh, Black and Indigenous people against people who are racist, and saying the wrong thing in talking to other white people about deconstructing the racism in our head and materially applying beneficial actions for Black and Indigenous people. I think there's a connection there. This sort of it's not. I need to write this down. But it's sort of a fear. Uh, I have a jumping off point. That it's like the I feel in my heart it's the same emotion that the fear of saying the wrong thing to you is in a different vein the same as saying the wrong thing to another white person, but but we're afraid of different reactions of the two. So it's really um, obviously it starts from the mind. It's just consistency in attacking that frame of reference. I don't have an answer, but I have a jumping off point and where I can go with that. I'll need to explore and write it down. Um, but
Very well. Davina.
Um, so for me, I feel that we have to heal. And that isn't going to come from um any like academic source. It can't come from like there could be tools that we can learn to use, but honestly, like we have to heal and to do that we have to be honest with ourselves and accept the truths and stuff like that. And while those sound like very minute or like that we should be able to do that, we don't do that. Like we literally refuse to do those things. And or we do it very surface level. um and it's horrible to say that in order I mean because like there is active harm and violence occurring. um but if we can't acknowledge the active harm and violence that we're doing to ourselves and to each other within like what is the white so-called community or white people, I don't think we'll be able to ever acknowledge the harm and violence that we're doing elsewhere, like truly.
Kay or Pax, anything to say? Either in response to my question or what the other two have said?
I definitely agree with the healing part and just getting like our groundings. I think that again when you're actually putting doing research or any consuming media and everything and actually putting it to practice as two different things. I think that since we recognize that like white people, we don't have an actual community, we need to start this. We need to actually start reaching out to other white people specifically for the reason of deconstruction and helping each other do so and navigate through that. I definitely think that there is definitely a disconnection just because we don't have there is no mentors and there no people much older than me on this panel. Like we're all kind of as you said on the same basic 101 class right now. That I think that it's really we actually have to get to more doing than just talking, if that makes sense.
But how do you even have the wisdom to discern what to do if I can't even have a fucking conversation with you and feel like a human being in the process?
I think that's definitely where I get stuck. That it's just I genuinely don't know how to communicate with other people, and I definitely know I acknowledge that the way that I, as a white person, if just even just in this conversation, I'm causing harm to you, and I don't know a starting point to reach out to other white people and start actually practicing empathy and the concept of it. I think that is where I kind of get stuck. I definitely think that, as I said, that's where media comes in. Just actually giving the concept and the tools, and actually sitting with other people's pain, acknowledging it, and not centering our own whiteness and everything, and bringing that into the conversation, seeing just structures of whiteness and how that affects behavior, seeing it in other white people, and kind of calling them out in them, as well as I need to call it out within myself. I think if that makes sense.
Davina, what do you think about this young person in their whiteness discussing this getting stuck? Getting stuck on that they must take action, that white people must take action. And then when I ask, well, how the fuck do you even know and have the wisdom to discern what to do if you can't even talk to black people and make them feel like human beings when you do so? And then they said that's where they're getting stuck. What do you think about that getting stuck, Davina?
I think that getting stuck is that healing part, because until we are able to get through that, we won't be able to see the humanity in anybody else. I'm not saying like we have to be totally healed, but we have to be at a point where we have done enough internal work and we have enough I don't even know how to describe it, to where like we can then like it happened, the transition will kind of like happen naturally. Like you begin to identify so many things within you in experience. So like as you're doing the thing, you're calling it out, then you stop doing it, but you catch it before you do it, and then like you're seeing it in other people and other places. So it will just, like, the humanity part will come in, and I think it's at that point that's when you're able to. So I think trying to force action is only going to repeat cycles.
Pax, what do you think about Davina's answer?
I'm having a verbal mental processing issue. I agree there is a lot of healing that that we have to do, and until we are able to treat you as a human being and recognize your pain, that we have to move forward, then treating you, dehumanizing you and treating you as fragile, instead of humanizing you and treating you like a person. We have to humanize you more in order to better facilitate the discussion and move forward. I think is what I'm trying to say.
All right, I have one final question, then we're going to move on. Sam, what is it like attending a second session and seeing that I've been able to create 3 hours of content because it's been that difficult for everyone here to process and move forward out of one small conversation and question being answered by Kay at the damn near beginning? What is it like witnessing that I could do it again for another 3 fucking hours? And the struggle is still there for all of you.
I have a physical sensation. My body drops. Um, a grave feeling. Not like a stomach in my knot, not like a knot in my stomach, but like my whole body just kind of like, I don't know, like, will we do it? Like, I really, this, dude, it's disappointing. Like, I don't, words cannot express that. It's, where, like, what, can we, like, I want to accelerate. Like, I don't want to sit here and talk about whether or not you're human. I want to like fucking kill these people. You know, like I, it's great that in Canada you don't need to censor this shit because I'm ready to, you know, I'm ready to murder. Sorry, you know, I'm ready for war. I'm ready, you know, and war unfortunately runs in my family for everyone who doesn't know. Not me though. Um, but I'm ready for war. I'm ready to take up arms and explosives and just start killing these motherfuckers. But um, that's where I stand. Um, I can't get people to be okay with that. That's a very it's very personal to me. Um, but I'm centering myself. So what do I feel about having you doing this and having to be able to do it for 3 more hours for 9 more hours? Oh God, I want to fucking punch the screen. Uh, that's sort of it's short. I short circuit. Like this is so fucking useless, but it's not useless because we're not there yet. I want to like claw my claw. Like oh, frustration. No, I'm sickened. Are you looking for emotions? Like
Nope, just whatever answer you have. I'm not looking for anything particular.
I
Just
yeah okay yeah I understand. Yeah.
so I'm gonna take it back though. I reclaim my time, as the meme goes. So as much as the like postal power fantasy would be lovely, the problem is you all lack even basic elements of interpersonal wisdom that even if you were somehow magically able to muster yourself into the physical, mental, and revolutionary muster to overcome the system which is branding all of us as terrorists and building the furnaces, you would ultimately just repeat the same thing with a new face because you are all, well, intrinsically, systemically, you will always be racist. But each of you is still quite racist in your actual interpersonal function and perpetuating the racial caste system. But you are able to do it in such a way that obscures it from particularly each other and in the ways that are most insidious that terrify and repel Black and Indigenous people to flee from you, because unless they can be in a space like this, which remember has a white person's approval, Pax's presence, and hosting the physical structure of the live, if I were to try to approach you the way I am in physical space in a group of white people, you would most likely gather in a gaggle of white fragility and social structurally violently turn against me and do what you can to repel me from the group and deny me the resources and things that you offer because I'm permitted to die if I don't comfort you. And I don't have a sense of trust that any of you under different contexts of meeting would not do that because you're that far off from having any sense and sort of having actual decolonial wisdom. So sorry, but I don't want your postal fantasy to come true because I don't want to be under a new trans racial caste system that you and yours decide to invent while waving the trans flag. I mean, I know the white line's in the middle, but like, no thank you. In the original trans flag, it's, pink and white. So the white is in the middle. It was a white centering joke. Anyways, Davina, darling, are you present?
I am.
You're going to lead these people in how to do an actual empathetic check-in with me with our closing time.
So, Zara, I first want to acknowledge the violence that you have experienced from all of us, the racism, and then also just outside of this live. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Do you want to engage any further, first of all? And then also, if you do, how are you doing? And is there anything that we can do to help you in this moment?
I feel deeply sad that the conduct all of you have done has not inspired any reassurance, and not myself or the Black queer peers that I have here. I'm glad you're here, but the meter is going to be moving so slow, and we only have 12 people, and the furnaces are being built now, that you can imagine why I'm not exuding delight and joy. It disappoints me how easy it is for me to make 3 hours of content from you all. It's really just that easy because of how inadequately low you are right now in terms of not continuing genocide. I feel what I'm doing is important, but as you can see, Mercury's exhausted, sad emoji, and that being the response this Black person has, it doesn't inspire me. This is the effect that your actions and lack of wisdom are producing in my community. And as much as you're trying to learn, you are reaffirming the same fears. And you have not subsided that in any way yet. That's how I feel, Davina.
Is there anything that we can do in this moment?
Right now, no. It would be more like I have homework planned and seeing who will actually do the homework and come back to the next session to see what they've done with that homework. I think that's kind of what I'm clinging to next to see how we have any measured progress.
Okay. Are you in a place to like assign a homework at this moment, or do you want we can all like you could share it with one of us, and then that person could share it with the rest? However you want to do it, whatever's best for you.
Who here that isn't Black, comma, indigenous, who here is actually willing to do homework if I assign it? I saw that. Kay, are you willing to do homework if I assign it?
Yes, yes, of course.
And chat, okay. Or is chat, okay. Here, 1 second, I got an important text. Give me just a moment, please. All right. Pax, it's my stress relief. Texted me. Just wanted to check on that. So here is what I want you each to do. In the next week, and Pax and I kind of just set the dates week by week, so it's not really set. It's just vaguely a week from each other. So it's not like you got to do it tomorrow or anything. And for all I know, you do it right the day before. What fucking difference does it make to me? You do it. So juggle your life accordingly. What I want you to all do is find 3 statistics on racial bias against Black people. And I'm going to leave it vague enough like that because I want to see, and I want you to challenge yourself. I don't want you to just do the first result you find. I want you to try to look around a little bit and find the 3 most striking to you statistics of racial bias against Black people. Not just the first 3, the 3 most striking after a decent, good search. I will let you define, right? I'm not going to be Tiger Mom or Breathing Down, Helicopter Parent. I'm not going to be like watching you and ask you how long you spent, whatever. I'll let you decide. I don't need to know. I just will have a basic element of trust that you efforted. You will each study and write down the 3 most striking statistics of racial bias. You will then write or record, however you need to, just at least a couple sentences about when you look at these 3 statistics. That is, you picked the 3 that of all the things you read, and then you narrowed it down to 3, and you're going to just look at those 3 that you finally chose were the most striking to you. You're going to sit with them. You're going to look at them, and then you're going to have a written or video recorded, as in like you put on YouTube, TikTok, I don't care, whatever way, you find a way to take after that mindful, present moment sitting with those. You're going to have a response recorded, be it, like I said, written, video, whatever. And then you're going to keep in mind that response. So the next time we have class, we will not only go over the statistics, we're going to go over, and make sure to write down the sources, actually, do that as well. Make sure you write down the sources of each of those statistics so that others can find them later. That would be helpful. And then you're going to present those statistics and make sure you have the resources to where you can find those statistics, along with your responses, and we'll add that to next class. That is the homework I'm assigning. What do you all think about that homework? Briefly.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm
I
ready
think
to
it's
do it.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's see if there's any final note. The final thing is this. This is not homework. This is politically desperate. ICE is being driven, in, of course, not equal distribution of violence, but being driven to kill us, okay? The reason I'm doing all this political work is I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to get us to work together and also try to get some of you motherfuckers up here, especially those that'll be the most left behind, right? Trying to work with Kate Glosson to try to build the legal, political, social, financial infrastructure that get your fucking asses up here. Unfortunately, we are so fucking far away from that because not only, as I've said before, that the people up here are very meek and not politically mobilized in any way, and only getting the first inkling to do that because I'm essentially crotch kicking them to do something because, you know, I'm smoting them with the wrath of goddess to be like, we're morally obligated. What the fuck are you doing? So until your trans peers that are both Canadian or US origin that are up here in Canada actually become functionally fucking useful, you're all going to have to, and persistently, probably for quite some time, mobilize to protect yourselves. However, that means you need to actually fucking mobilize. So, what I'm going to ask of you is you need to go across TikTok and persistently bother non-Black and Indigenous trans people and ask them, are you talking about these things? Are you also addressing the racism within the trans community that's hindering us from mobilizing? And also point out this live, my work, and any other Black and Indigenous trans people that are either asking for mutual aid help or because they are just as valuable. Having Black and Indigenous people, trans people calling out for help is some basic ask and trust of society that everyone benefits from keeping our most wise alive, which is why they are just as equally valuable, other than being fucking human beings, as the other Black and Indigenous trans people that have a more active educational channel. You need to be going around to non-Black and Indigenous trans people and presenting to them. You need to center these people, bring them to your white and white-centered audience. These Black and Indigenous people in need, and here's the other ones that are doing educating. And also, you need to push more non-Black and Indigenous people to actually attend Zara and Pax's lives. And that is my final note. Thank you for coming to class today. Dear God and Goddess, we have a lot of work to do, and ICE and Stephen Miller are moving very quickly. Thank you very much, and have a good enough night that you can. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Zara.
Thank you,
Really appreciate you.
Rex, for holding a space.
Thank you so much, everyone. I actually don't know how to